Joining me now is Jeff Duncan of the Times-Picayune and NOLA.com. What a great win for LSU last night, and one they really dearly needed to have.
Yeah, they needed to get, I think, a little bit of confidence back after that loss in Florida. They really hadn't played well in either of their SEC games so far. The Auburn win was really, I thought, a lackluster performance. So I think this was big to boost their confidence. And moreover, looking at the big picture, get them back in the SEC race and also the national title hunt. And really, Fred, that loss to Florida is almost irrelevant now. Everything is in front of LSU. They still got to take care of business this week at A&M, but if they can get that win, then they set up that showdown at Tiger Stadium, and really all the goals that they've set for themselves, both on the SEC level and national level, are right there for them. But
the one thing you can't do if you're Les Miles' team is look beyond Texas A&M to Alabama. A&M's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, it's unfamiliar territory. If you've been down and covered a game at College Station, it's a very difficult environment to play in. You know, A&M wants to get a marquee opponent like that and get a victory in the SEC. You know, they had Florida on the ropes earlier this year and really kind of laid down the second half, and Florida got a big win on the road. You know, there's nothing better that A&M would like to do than to get a marquee victory. And you're right, coming in the sandwich game, if you will, between this South Carolina win and looking ahead to Alabama, I think it's a very dangerous game.
Yeah, the so-called trap game out there.
Yeah, very much.
Let's talk about some of the players. First up, Jeremy Hill, freshman, 124 yards rushing, a couple of touchdowns. Coming out party for him, and dare we say a star is born again for LSU?
It certainly looked that way, and LSU's definitely needed someone to emerge from that backfield after Alfred Blue got hurt earlier this year. We know Les Miles wants to be a running team. That's how this team's built. They need a bell cow in the backfield, and he emerged last night, and I thought we all know he had talent coming out of high school, but I think some other things had gotten in his way, and he kind of gotten lost in the shuffle with all the other backs. But a performance like that against a quality opponent, I mean, this is a top 10 rushing defense, and LSU put up 258 rushing yards on them. That's, again, going to build confidence for them and build confidence for Jeremy Hill.
You want the running game if you're LSU. Obviously, that's been their hallmark along the way. But Zach Mettenberger, how has he progressed in your mind to becoming that leader of the football team offensively?
Well, I think there's still mixed reviews on Zach Mettenberger. I mean, he managed the game well, except for one terrible mistake again. He seems to have one of those every game. This one, almost a pick six that really allowed South Carolina to control the game early. On a bad play, but we don't know, and I'm always leery to judge the passing games. I don't know if that was a bad route that was run or the timing was off for other reasons, but he seems to have one of those mistakes a game, and that's to be expected at that level when you're coming in, first year starting. But they need him to just not make those critical mistakes. This team is built like so many of these other LSU teams and Alabama teams we've seen in the past. They win with defense and running the ball, but they can't afford to have these egregious mistakes down near the goal line. But I do think he's showing improvement, and we all see the talent level. I mean, he's got a big-time NFL arm. He can make these passes that you have to make at the next level. He's just got to manage the game better. And the one area that I'm still concerned about him is his pocket awareness, his presence. He takes a lot of big sacks because of his lack of feel in the pocket, and it's been a problem all year, and opponents are attacking him because of it.
But do you see the growth in the young man as we go game by game? I mean, there's the junior college situation. He's taken a long and curvy path to get to where he is.
No doubt, and he wants to be a leader. You can see him on the sidelines, the body language he carries. He called the team meeting the other night before this game, and he's doing the part off the field to try and mature and become the guy that takes control of that offense. In that position, that's required. You've got to be that leader. But I think it's still a work in progress.
All right, so LSU takes the one loss on the road at Florida, A&M coming up, Alabama coming up. Are they still, in your mind, in the championship conversation? Talking about the national championship.
Well, I think they are after this win, but they still haven't put together their best game yet. And I think that's, if you've got optimism for LSU, if you're an LSU fan, that's what you have to hang your hat on, is this team really hasn't put it together yet. And I think Saturday night against South Carolina was a big step in the right direction. We saw that defense dominate like we have all expected them to do all season. If they keep getting that kind of performance, because of the injuries on offense and because they're still kind of figuring things out at quarterback, I think their best football is ahead of them, and they could be peaking at the right time as opposed to early in the season.
All right. Jeff Duncan, Times-Picayune, NOLA.com. Thank you so much, as always.
Sure, my
pleasure,
pleasure,
See you again
Fred.
next week.